Hello, future RMTs. Welcome to our online lecture. And in this lecture, what we're going to discuss is all about semen analysis. Okay. Our learning objectives or learning outcomes are as follows. Identify the structures involved in sperm production and their function. Explain the procedures for collecting and handling semen specimen. Perform semen analysis, and interpret the results of semen analysis. To start with, let us define first why do we have to perform semen analysis? What are the purpose? Why do we perform semen analysis in the laboratory? There are actually three major reasons why we perform semen analysis in the laboratory. And out of these three reasons, the most common reasons or purpose of performing semen analysis is for fertility, no? For paternal fertility. Why is it the most common or in cases of couple, married couple, no? uh, who are experiencing difficulty in producing their offsprings, why is it men is usually the first one to be evaluated? The very reason on that is that number one is men can easily collect sample. Men can easily collect semen. Unlike in female, no, it's too hard to collect egg from the women. Okay, that's why it is usually the fertility test is usually performed among men, not to know if they have enough sperm count, and aside from that is to know the the structure or the morphology rather of the semen. Are they normal? Do they have the pinhead or tapered or so on and so forth? Okay, it's the reason why we perform semen analysis in the laboratory. Now, aside from that, the other reason of performing semen analysis is for the testing, no, of the effectiveness of the vasectomy. Okay, what is vasectomy? When we said vasectomy or vasectomy, no, that is the cutting of the uh, vas deferens. Okay? Kumbaga in female, this is what we call ligation. Okay? In this result, no, we're cutting the vas deferens of male so that the sperm from the epididymis will not uh, flow going to the urethra to be released. And the last reason for performing semen analysis is usually for forensic analysis or usually for rape victims. Okay? Now, these are the three major reasons or purpose of performing semen analysis. Again, out of these three, the first or the most common is for fertility testing. Now, what is the composition of our semen? I want to make it clear that when we said semen, that is combination of spermatozoa, seminal fluid, prostatic fluid or prostate fluid, as well as the bulbourethral gland fluid. Okay, please take note of that. And when we said sperm, that is actually the cell of the sex cell of male. When we said semen, it's composition of different fluids, seminal fluid, spermatozoa, which compromises or which compose of the sperm, which will be counted in the analysis. Uh, Prostatic fluid, which accounts to 20 to 30% of the fluid, and lastly, the bulbourethral glands, which accounts for 5%. Now, the semen composition is composed of 5% spermatozoa or 5% of the sperm. Okay? And on the next slide, I will show to you how we, we produce or how the body produce sperm through what we call the process of spermatogenesis. Hormones are also responsible in the production of sperm, as this triggers the stimulation of the production of the testes, particularly the semifinerous tubules of the testes through the Sertoli cells to produce to synthesize sperm. Okay, and again we have here the Sertoli cells, which is the cells, the nerve cells, for the developing sperm. Okay, and we also have here the epididymis or epididymis, which is responsible naman for the motility or for the maturation of the sperm. Again, take note that 5% of the semen composition is through is composed of spermatozoa or the sperm itself. Now, majority of the semen or seminal fluid is composed of seminal fluid, that is 60 to 70%. Okay, 60 to 70% of the semen is composed of the seminal fluid. Now we have what we call here the seminal vesicles, which provides nutrients for sperm and fluid. Now, take note that seminal vesicles provides nutrients for sperm and fluid, and take note that our semen or the semen is rich in what we call fructose. And this fructose, being a sugar, is the source of energy of the semen, which allows it to become a motile one. No? Now, like what I've said, this graph shows how the sperm produce. Okay. Now, how the sperm produce? Again, I said that a while ago, hormones is also responsible in so-called spermatogenesis. I have here the hormonal control for testicular control. Okay, so we have GnRH. GnRH stands for gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, again, GnRH, allow me to write, GnRH stands for gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, this gonadotrophin releasing hormone secreted by the hypothalamus will give signal to our pituitary gland. Okay? In other words, these are what we call releasing hormones, or this is what we call chemical messengers that will signal the pituitary gland to release this FSH and LH. This is what we call our hormone. Now, these are hormones that will promote the production of our testosterone and androgen, and for the production of spermatogenesis. Take note that this follicle stimulating hormone, the action of FSH in men is to bind with its receptor on the testes, particularly on the Sertoli cells, so that these Sertoli cells, in conjunction with the nerve cell, will promote what we call spermatogenesis. LH, on the other hand, also known as the luteinizing hormone, will react with its glycoprotein receptor so that the adrenal will promote our production of the steroid hormone, and one of which is your testosterone. Okay, so this is the hormonal regulation of our testicular function in conjunction with spermatogenesis. So going back with this one, like what I've said, the FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, will react with our Sertoli cells, so that these Sertoli cells in help with our nerve cells no, will be able to produce the sperm. Okay? And this sperm will mature in the epididymis of the men. No? On the epididymis of the men. As you can see here, we have the vas deferens. This is actually the one being cutted during vasectomy. Okay? Ito yung kinakat during vasectomy so that the sperm will not flow going to the urethra. Okay? So that is how our sperm is produced. Another that is we have 20 to 30% of the semen is composed of prostatic fluid. This is an acidic fluid. Okay? This is an acidic fluid. Although this is an acidic fluid, I want you to take note, guys, that the pH of the semen is alkaline. That ranges from 7.2 to 8. Okay, take note, even though it contains 20 to 30% of prostatic fluid, no, tandaan po that it is alkaline in pH 7.2 to 8. Now, what is with prostatic fluid? Prostatic fluid contains ACP. And when we said ACP, this is acid phosphatase, an enzyme. Okay? This is an acid phosphatase, zinc, citric acid, and other enzymes that can be useful in evaluation of the presence of the semen, no, in the vaginal canal for rape victims. And take note that this prostatic fluid is the one responsible for the coagulation and liquefaction of the semen. Now, what is liquefaction? From the word itself, lique, which means liquid, no, liquefaction. Take note, guys, that liquefaction is an essential, no? This is an essential part, okay, in semen analysis. Why? Because, okay, because it is used, not to know if the semen produced by men is too viscous or hindi. No? Take note that it is, no, it is shown that the semen of the men, no, will liquefy at least within 30 minutes, no, after 30 minutes of the collection. So 30 minutes after the collection, dun pa lang dapat mag-start mag-liquefy ang semen. Ngayon, upon the release or upon the excretion of the semen at liquefy na agad siya, then there might be a problem in the men. That's why, or in men, that's why it is not capable to produce offspring. Okay? So dapat mag-liquefy pa lang siya 30 minutes after the collection. That's why it is recommended, no, to submit a freshly collected semen in the laboratory. And the remaining 5% of the semen is the thick alkaline mucus, and that is responsible, the one that is responsible for that is the bulbourethral gland. Okay? And like what I've said, no, ang pH ng ating semen is 7.2 to 8. Okay? 7.2 to 8. It contains acidic fluid from the prostatic fluid, but it is an alkaline. Why alkaline? It is because of the bulbourethral gland. It neutralizes the acidity from the prostatic secretions and vagina. Okay? So that is the reason why the pH of semen is an alkaline, 7.2 to 8. Okay, so these are just the structures and the functions that are responsible in the production of the semen. Okay, so please take note that the seminal vesicle provide nutrients for the sperm and fluid. Seminiferous tubules of the testis is the one responsible for the spermatogenesis. Epididymis is the one responsible for the sperm maturation. Ductus deferens is the one responsible for the sperm for ejaculatory ducts, no, for the release. Prostratic glands, enzymes and proteins for also for coagulation and liquefaction. Bulbourethral gland, the one responsible for neutralizing the prostatic acid and the vaginal acidity. Okay, now, how are we going to collect sample? No? Well, if we are going to talk in a medical field or in a medical speaking, the most common method of collection is through what we call the masturbation. Okay, this method can be performed in the hospital. Now, if the patient feels uncomfortable with that, no, they can collect at home, provided that they will keep the sample at body temperature, provided that they will submit the sample immediately after the collection. However, some hospitals requires to collect it in the laboratory. Not really inside the laboratory, but inside the comfort room. No? And this is the most common method. Aside from this one is we have the coitus interruptus. What is coitus interruptus? This is also known or most commonly known as the withdrawal method. Okay, this is where the man and female or the man and male having a sexual intercourse, and when the sperm is about to release or about to secrete, no, the man will pull his penis inside the vagina and then withdraw the penis in the vagina and then wait for the ejaculation. And the other method for that is also using the coitus interruptus or the masturbation with the use of condom or condom method. With, no, it should be without spermicide. Okay? Without spermicide dapat ang gagamitin condom for condom method for the collection of the semen. Okay? So these are the three reasons, or these are the three methods of collection. And out of these three, the most common is this one. Okay. Now, prior to collection or prior to the collection of the sample, it is recommended that the sample or that men will have an abstinence for 2 to 3 days. Okay. 2 to 3 days abstinence is recommended for the production or for the collection of the semen. Okay. Now, but why not exceed 5 days? Why not 5 days? Because take note, guys, that increase in abstinence, okay? Increase in abstinence will cause increase in the volume, okay? And increase in volume will cause decrease in motility, okay? So, it is not recommended to prolong the abstinence for 5 days. Why? Again, because increase in abstinence will increase the volume. Siyempre, no? Madaming ilalabas ang men, no? Because they abstain for 5 days. And increase ang volume niyan. And once that the volume increases, it will affect the motility of the sperm. That's why for collection, no, for collection, it is recommended to have an abstinence of 2 to 3 days. Now, how will you assure that the patient abstain for 2 to 3 days? You will ask them. You will ask them in a nice and appropriate way. How are we going to tell them? Okay? Because prior to the collection, you will interview them for a short period of time. Okay? Sir, okay, nag-abstain po ba kayo? If the patient says yes, okay, you will ask them, when was the last intercourse, or when was the last time that you do this thing, okay, this thing. Okay, pag sinabing ganung araw and that is actually 2 to 3 days, then it is acceptable. Okay? Ngayon, I want you to take note that that men, no, you need to uh, inform your patient that they need to collect the entire ejaculate. They need to I'm sorry. They need to collect the entire ejaculate. Why? Okay? Because the volume, okay? Because the volume of semen is necessary in what we call sperm concentration. Okay? Take note. The sperm count rather, I'm sorry. Take note, guys, that men or your patient must collect the entire ejaculate. Most especially, most especially, I repeat, most especially the first drop of semen. Why? Because the first drop of the semen is the most concentrated semen. No? That's why we said every drop counts. Okay? Next, like what I've said, let's say for example, the patient feels uncomfortable to collect the sample in the premises of the hospital, they can collect it at home. Provided that they should be the sample must be delivered 1 hour, within 1 hour after the collection, and make sure that they are kept at body temperature. Now, what are the things to consider? What are the things to take note? No? Number one, time of collection. Let's say, for example, the men started collecting at 7:30. Okay? 7:30. If the method is masturbation, so 7:30 siya nag-start. And by 7:35, na-release yung sperm or nag-release siya ng semen. Okay? So, from 7:35 to, okay? From 7:35 to 8:05. Okay? Starting 8:05, okay? Starting 8:05, it is no expected that the sample will start to liquefy. Okay? Because the liquefaction is 30 to 60 minutes after the collection. Next, you need to also to indicate the specimen receipt, the time when you receive the sample. Okay? And take note, guys, specimen waiting for analysis should be kept at 37 degrees. Bakit 37 degrees? Body temperature. Okay? What else? The usual volume or the normal volume of semen is 2 to 5 ml. Less than 2, greater than 5 is not normal. Viscosity is poor in droplets. Later, I've shown you a picture of a semen, and it is seen there that it has a poor no in droplets. No, pag inangat mo siya, ay hindi agad siya nag-drop. Sperm concentration is 20 million per ml. Sir, how can we count 20 million sperm in a one ejaculate? Later, I will teach you on how to count sperm and how you would arrive with 20 million value. Okay? Yung 100, mahirapan ka lang magbilang. What more pa yung 20 million? But later, like what I've said, I will teach you how to count sperm. Okay? Sperm count or sperm concentration is different from sperm count. When we said sperm concentration, that is the amount of sperm produced per ml of your ejaculate. And the sperm count is the amount of the sperm in the entire ejaculate. That's why it is important, no, to have the volume of the sample. Okay? And then motility, greater than 50% should be motile within 1 hour. Okay? The problem sometimes men is able to produce enough volume. They produce enough sperm count and sperm concentration. However, hindi motile, patay. Okay? That's the problem in some men. Okay? So, well, I beg an apology for female for female students who see this illustration. Please allow me to use this illustration from the internet so that you will be able to see how the sperm looks like. The purpose of showing this illustration is for medical purpose. Well, I hope that you all understand why do I have to put this. Okay, and what is also the reason why we have to perform this in the laboratory? It's because I don't want you to be stupid when time comes that you have to perform this in the hospital na kayo na isang medtech. It is unacceptable for a medical technologist who even don't know how to perform semen analysis. Okay, so for the information of all, this is how the semen looks like. This is a normal sample or a normal semen with a grayish white color and translucent. Okay, and this is the normal semen. Okay, again, uh, this is how the normal semen looks like. Okay, and the semen will have an increase in turbidity if there is an infection or there is an increase in the WBC. Now, it is reddish or brown discoloration if there is an increase in RBC. Yellowish color if the men had a prolonged abstinence. Okay? Take note, guys, that a normal volume again is 2 to 5 ml. This is a normal volume, no? If I am not mistaken, if I will estimate this, so we can say that this is already at 2 ml volume, no? Which is the lower limit, no? Acceptable limit. Okay? Now, increase in volume, again, that is due to prolonged abstinence, and increase in volume, decrease in motility. Now, what if there is a decrease in the volume? Decrease in volume is usually the reason of infertility, or the other reason is men fail to collect the entire ejaculate. Now, let me share you a story of one of my students who collect his semen. He collected the semen in the school, no, inside the comfort room, and unfortunately, no, the first drop was not collected. Okay, hindi niya na-collect yung first first drop of the ejaculate, whatever it is. I don't want to explain it further or elaborate it further. Basta yung first drop ng sample hindi niya na-collect. The reason behind that is, let's keep it between me and him. Kung bakit hindi niya na-collect ng husay. So sinabi niya sa akin, no, na sir, hindi ko po na-collect ng husay. And the first drop of the sample was not collected. Okay? So, since this is for educational purpose, the experimentation went well. Unfortunately, no, unfortunately, when his classmates count the sperm, it yielded lower volume. Mababang volume, definitely. Hindi na-collect lahat. And aside from that, the sperm count and the sperm concentration is below the normal volume or the normal value. So I talked to him, and I told him that the result is like this. Okay, that's the time na sinabi niya, sir, hindi po na-collect yung entire ejaculate. So that is the reason, no, that is the reason why we have to collect. You have to instruct your patient that the entire ejaculate must be collected. And just to make this session light, no, I was surprised when one of my students, well, not only me, but the whole class was surprised when one of our students or when one of my students submitted to me his semen, no, in a top, red top. Okay, his classmates were asking me, sir, paano na po yun nailagay sa red top? Okay, uh, well, siguro skill na yun or whatever on how he was able to collect his semen in red top. But why I have to tell this? Because you have to instruct and you have to make sure that your patient will collect semen in using, no, or the semen will be stored in a appropriate specimen container. And what is the appropriate specimen container? That is a urine culture or urine bottle or urine container will do. Stool container will do, provided that hindi pa siya nagagamit. Okay? Okay. Don't you ever instruct your patient to, sige sir, collect nyo na lang po, without giving them the specimen container. Okay? So the specimen container must be used as the storage for semen sample. Okay? So like what I've said, viscosity of the semen is poor in droplets. So this is a sample of semen, this one, no, poor in droplets. Now, how are you going to test? Take note of this, guys. Viscosity is also tested. Okay, how are you going to test that? Using an applicator stick. Okay, using an applicator stick, parang mag-iangat-angat mo siya. Okay, and it must be like this. Okay, now increase in viscosity, decrease in the motility of the sperm. Now, what are the factors that contribute in the decrease of the motility of ng sperm? Increase ng volume and increase in viscosity. These two will cause decrease in sperm motility. All right. Okay, so we have here 0 as watery, 4 a gel-like. Now, this is also another reason why men becomes infertile. No? Yung kanilang semen, yung semen ng ibang patient, gel-like. Alam niyo yung parang sago na maliliit? Well, it may sound funny, but yes, that's true. No? Ganun yung amoy, ganun yung itsura. And usually, pag yung ganun ang itsura ng, ng, ng sperm, no, gel-like, yung itsura ng sperm, yung viscosity ng sperm, ang baho. No? Ano yung, yeah, the normal color or the normal odor of sperm is a bleach-like odor, no, parang si Proteus. Pero yung mga gel-like, mayroon siyang strong foul odor. Okay? So again, pH is 7.2 to 8 because of the bulbourilateral gland. And increase in pH, it means there's an infection. Decrease in pH means there is increase in what we call prostatic fluid. Now, how are we going to count the sperm concentration? Okay, take note again that the normal concentration or the normal value of our sperm concentration is greater than 20 million per liter. So there are actually two methods on counting sperm. Number one is through improved Neubauer counting chamber, which is also used for the WBC, RBC, and body fluid cell count, cell count. Okay. Usually, the sperm is diluted at 1:20. Okay. So these are the diluents. Since we are going to count the sample and we are going to dilute the sample, these are our diluting fluid: formalin, sodium bicarbonate, saline, and distilled water. Or we can also use cold tap water or cold water. Now, what is the purpose? Why do we have to use diluents? Aside from because we have to dilute the semen, and the other reason on why we are using diluent is because to immobilize the sperm. Okay? That is the other reason why we have to dilute the sample, no? To immobilize the sperm. Now, aside from improved counting or improved Neubauer counting chamber, we can also use Mackler counting chamber. In this one, no, in Mackler counting chamber, the sample is undiluted, and we use heat as the immobilizing agent of the sperm. Now, why do we have to immobilize the sperm? Bakit kailangan immobilize ang sperm? Because if you will not immobilize it, and since this is motile, abay mahihirapan kang magbilang. Okay? That is the reason why we have to immobilize the sperm. Okay? So again, we can use WBC squares or RBC squares. Okay? And counting. Okay? So if we're going to use RBC squares, we have to count 5 RBC squares. Alam ba ang RBC squares natin ito? Ito yung ating WBC square. Tama? Kapag po WBC square, ang bibilangin natin ito or ito. Okay, dalawang WBC square. And to get the sperm concentration, the number of sperm counted times 10 raised to 5. Okay, let's say for example, on the first WBC square, nakabilang ka ng 20 sperm, no? And on the second WBC square, nakakabilang ka ng 40. So 50. So average natin yan, 20 plus 50 divided by 2 is 70. No, this is 70 divided by 2 is 35. So sabihin, in 2 WBC square, no, mayroon kang average of 35 sperm na na-count. Okay, so that will be 35 sperm counted times 10 raised to 5. 35 times 10 raised to 5, okay, is equals to 3,500,000. So, 3,500,000. Okay? So, halimbawa naman, sa 5 RBC squares ka, so nakabilang ka ng, let's say for example, 20 times 10 raised to 6. Okay? So, 20 times 10 raised to 6. That is 20 million. Okay? That is for our sperm concentration. Again, the sperm concentration should be greater than 20 million per 20 million cells per ml. Okay? Now, how about the long method? For the long method, we have the sperm counted, okay, times the dilution, which is 20. The area, no? The area depends if you are going to, the area is how many squares, no? And the depth depends on our counting chamber. Okay? Now, let's have an example. Okay, so this is how are we going to count sperm. Lahat po noong katulad nito, katulad nito will not be counted. Okay? Lahat ng lalagpas, no, doon sa area ng ating WBC square should not be counted except for this 2. Ay, sir, lumagpas naman yan. Yes. Pero half of the body or half of the head is already inside the counting, the WBC square. So if we are going to count the cell here, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Assuming that we have 8 cells counted, no? 8 cells counted times 10 raised to 5. Since this is a WBC square, no? 10 raised to 5 times 8, that will be 800,000 cells per ml. Okay? So this is how we're going to count sperm concentration. Let's have an example. Let's say, using a 1:20 dilution, an average of 60 sperm were counted in, no? Were counted in 5 RBC square on both sides of the hemocytometer. Calculate the sperm concentration per ml and the total sperm count in the specimen with a volume of 4 ml. So how are we going to do that? Let's say this one. Okay, 60 times 10 raised to 6. Oh wait, why is it like this? Wait lang. This is RBC square, and if RBC square, yeah, tama pala. Since we count it into 5 RBC square, so that is 10 raised to 6. That's 1 million. Okay, so 60 times 1 million is equals to 60 million sperm per ml. 60 million sperm per ml, that is the sperm concentration. Now, how about the sperm count? Okay, the 60 million, the sperm concentration times 4. Saan po nanggaling yung 4? This 4 is actually this one, the 4 ml. Not kaya sabi ko sa inyo, it is necessary to have the exact volume of the semen. Okay, so 60 million times 4 will give us 240 million sperm per ejaculate. And 240 million sperm per ejaculate is considered as normal because the normal sperm count should be greater than or equal to 40 million. Yung sperm concentration is greater than 20 million. Okay? Take note, yung sperm concentration, sperm per ml, yung sperm count is sperm per ejaculate. Another example, in a 1:20 dilution, okay, 600 sperm were counted in 2 WBC squares. Calculate the sperm concentration and the total sperm count in a specimen with 2 microliter of volume. Kawawa naman ito, no? 2 microliters lang ang naging sample. Okay, so how are we going to compute it? If we are going to compute it using our long method, that will be 600 times 20. Saan po nanggaling yung 600? Ayun yung sperm count. No, nabilang. Ano yung 20? This is the dilution factor. Ano yung 2? This is the area. So, saan nanggaling yung area na yan? 2 WBC squares. Ano po yung 0.1? That is our depth. No, yan yung lalim noong ating WBC square. Okay? So, that will be 60,000 sperm per UL. Okay? That will be 60,000 sperm per UL. So, we have to convert it into ml. So, 60, ito pala, 16,000 sperm per UL times 1,000. Bakit times sa 1,000? So that it will be converted into ml. So that will be 60 million sperm per ml. Okay, and then we have to times it to 2 ml. No? That will be 1,200 ml. Okay? So for the sperm count, the normal value is greater than, no? Greater than 40 million per ejaculate. Okay? So ano yung formula mo dyan? Sperm count times volume. Now, how about for the motility? Like what I've said, greater than or equal to 50% of the sperm must be motile. So we have criteria according to WHO and the criteria as per Strasinger. We use 4, 3, 2, 1, no, to indicate the motility, or the WHO criteria A, B, B, C, D. For A, or 4A. Ayan, para madali mong tandaan, 4A. 4A, rapid, straight line motility. Like this. Rapid, straight line motility. Palaban. 3B. 3B, slower speed, some lateral movement. Slower speed, some lateral movement, medyo lumiliko. 2B, slow forward progression, noticeable lateral movement. Slow progression, noticeable lateral movement. 1C, no forward progression. Okay? Nagpro-propel ang flagella pero hindi naman nag-move. And 0D, no movement at all. Okay? This is actually a actual, no, sperm analysis performed by my students. Okay, as you can see, those moving are just actual sperm. Okay? Yeah. Sorry for the background music, no, background noise ng mga students. Okay? So you can see that there is a live sperm with a 4 motility, no? Rapid movement, straight line. Okay? So I've also uploaded this short clip in our learning management system. Now, semen analysis is a quite tedious one. No? Like what I've said, kaya gusto ko alam nyo kung paano is because I want you to perform it. I want you to know how to perform it. And I want you to be knowledgeable on performing it. Pero mahirap siya. Because take note, di ba? Take note of this, guys. Sa isang WBC square, yung isang sperm na hindi mo mabilang, that is actually equivalent to 100,000 cells already. At sa WRBC square, yung isang sperm na hindi mo mabibilang, that's actually equivalent to 1 million cells less. Okay? That's why people are innovative, no? Naka-invento ng tinatawag na CASA. And CASA stands for Computerized Assisted Semen Analysis, which is the one responsible for the sperm velocity, trajectory, sperm concentration, as well as morphology. Wala ka nang masyadong gagawin. Ilagay mo na lang dun. Tapos ang buhay. Okay? That is our CASA. Now, for morphology, okay, 30% should be normal forms. And according to Kruger's criteria, 14%. Okay na yun. Now, if we're going to analyze the anatomy of the sperm, meron lang naman siyang 3 distinct parts. Ano lang yung 3 distinct parts of the sperm? We have the head, we have the neck, or the midpiece, and we have the tail. That is the 3 distinct parts of the sperm. Ngayon, yung head ng sperm is composed of the nucleus and it is covered with acrosomal cap, kagaya niya. Okay? Acrosomal cap is 1/2 of the head and 2/3 of the nucleus. The tail of the sperm is approximately 45 micrometers and the head is usually 15 micrometers. No? 5 meters or 5 micrometers in length, 3 micrometers in width. Okay, take note po, 1/2 of the head, 2/3 of the nucleus. That is our acrosomal cap. Tail is 45 micrometers. Head is usually 15 micrometers. Okay, so these are the sperm morphology. This is the normal, no? Normal structure or normal appearance of the sperm. We have double head. No, we have giant head. We have amorphous, sumabog na yung head. We have pinhead. Usually pinhead pag mga constricted as well as tapered head. Yung ginadaanan ng sperm. Kaya nasisira yung normal oval shape ng sperm head. Constricted, no, may shape, double tail, coiled, and spermatid. Spermatid, sperm without tail. And I want you to take note, people, that spermatid must be differentiated with WBC. Okay? Spermatid must be differentiated with WBC. Kasi baka akala mo WBC siya, kasi walang tail, walang flagella, kasi siya siyang spermatid. Okay. Ngayon, sa lahat po ng morphology na ito, na meron ng sperm, it is the normal sperm or the double-tailed lang yung nakaka-penetrate ng egg. Eh, sir, yun o, dalawa. Yeah, this is abnormal. Kahit pa yan ay dalawa. Ito naman sobrang laki. O, ito naman, no, lumiit na, naging constricted na yung kanilang head. Now, in terms of cell or sperm morphology, we use stain. No? We use stain to differentiate the sperm. We can use Wright stain, we can use Gemsa stain, or we can use Papanicolaou stain. Okay? Papanicolaou stain is the stain for Pap smear. No? Si George Nicholas Papanicolaou ang nakadiscover ng stain na yan. And it will give you a better color or better visualization of the sperm morphology if you will use Papanicolaou stain. Eh, kaya siya naka-red dyan. Kasi dapat tandaan mo siya. Okay, so we have here the sperm viability. It uses eosin and nigrosin as the reagent. No? Ito maganda. Because you can differentiate the living sperm and the dead sperm. Na yung living sperm dito, unstained or sometimes bluish. Living sperm, living sperm, living sperm. Lahat sila normal in morphology. Spermatid, spermatid, and sperm. These three are dead sperm. Sir, I have a question. Normal lang po ba sa isang lalaki na mayroong makitang dead sperm sa kanyang ejaculate? Yes, it is normal. But it is abnormal when all cells are dead. Okay? So what are the reasons why some men fail to produce enough sperm or there's a problem in the sperm morphology? Again, please allow me to use these visuals so that you will be able to see how is this varicocele, hernia, and likes looks like. Now, number one reason is varicocele. Take note, guys, that varicocele is the most common that's the most common cause of male infertility. Bakit po nagkakameron ng varicocele? Why is it? Varicocele is actually hardening of the vein that drains the testes. Okay, that's the reason why nagiging infertile ang lalaki. Hindi makapag-produce ng sperm. Though may ejaculate, but it does not contain sperm. And other reason, if nakakapag-release sila ng sperm, ano naman po yung nangyayari? There is what we call abnormality in the morphology of the sperm. At ano yung meron? Nagpo-produce sila ng tapered head sperm. Okay? In this illustration, no, makikita natin dito, merong mga ugat, no, na visible na visible. No, don't be proud if you have this. Because this is actually a hardening of the vein that can drain your testes and can result into infertility. This one is a real illustration of a man with varicocele. This two, yan, the vein, no? Nag-harden, kagaya nito, that is varicocele, which, you know, causes a tapered head sperm. That's why men, no, like with women, yung mga babae, di ba? In annual physical examination, ay tinetest ang nagkakamera ng pagkapa ng breast, no? Actually ladies, no, for you young ladies, it is recommended at the age of 25, no, to have an annual pap smear, no, to check the uterus, most especially yung pong mga nanganak na mga mother nyo, no, I recommend or I suggest, no, if they can submit themselves to OB/GYN for pap smear, no, to assess the cervix, no, ay gawin. And for male, well, I must say, it is uncomfortable to take off your clothes in front of the doctor. Yeah, it is uncomfortable. But since we are a medical practitioner and you, soon to be a medical practitioner, dapat kahit nakakahiya, we need to submit ourselves for genital analysis for men, no? To see, to assess if they are like this condition, varicocele or hernia. For female, usually naman, pag nag-physical exam sa female is babae din, no? If they require to have the breast analysis, then you submit also yourself for that. Okay? At the end of the day, hindi naman nila kayo kilala kung sino kayo, kung sino tayo. Right? So that, well, for male, so that hindi po magkameron ng chances ng mga ganitong condition. Okay? Next, aside from varicocele, we also have hydrocele. Now, from the word itself, hydro, water, cele, this is a type of swelling in the scrotum that occurs, kailan? When the fluid collects, okay, in the thin sheet surrounding the testicles. Kagaya niyan, no? Yung fluid nag-accumulate na sa buong scrotum, lumaki. This is different from hernia. Yung hernia, loose-loose. Yung hydrocele, nagkameron ka na ng accumulation of fluid. Okay? Yes. This is hernia. As you can see in this illustration, yan. Meron pong hernia. At ano po yung nangyayari sa hernia? Usually yung small intestine, nagpapas, no, papunta doon sa scrotum. Kaya nagkakaroon ng bukol. Masakit. Kasi nagiging constricted yung what you call this? Nagiging constricted yung intestine. Usually, ang hernia sa lalaki. But I want to inform you, ladies, that you can also have hernia kung bababa din ang inyong mga small intestine. This is actually, yeah, a female reproductive organ. This is the vaginal area. And on the pubis area of the female genital organ, no? Medyo hindi lang visible dito. Pero this is the area. So pwede natin i-zoom. Yan. This is the area where nakikita yung bukol because of the small intestine. Ngayon, ito naman yung sa lalaki, ganito yung ginagawa. Nakakameron ng small opening and then inaangat yung nahulog na intestine. This is testis actually. This one, testis yan. Inaangat and then tinatahian yung area kung saan inaangat to and then nagkakameron ng incision here so that it will not pass through again. Okay? Well, I know that you will ask or you have a question in your mind. Sir, totoo po bang kapag nagbubukat ng mga bibigat, it can promote, no, na magkameron ng ganitong condition. Now, what are the other tests? Seminal fluid fructose. Like what I've said, semen is rich in fructose. Okay? Semen is rich in fructose, which is the source of energy and used as energy for the motility. And it should be tested within 2 hours. Well, it is not routinely done naman yung fructose analysis. Pero ginagawa din, no, to detect the presence of fructose. What I mean, sa semen analysis, hindi naman siya kasama. Pero if you want to perform it, no, to test the presence of fructose, then you can use Selivanov test or Resocranol test to test for the presence of fructose. Now, if you cannot test it, you must preserve it in a freezer, no, to prevent what we call fructolysis. Okay, so we also have anti-sperm antibodies, which is an immunological test. which can be detected in the semen and cervical mucosa or serum, no? Cervical mucosa in case of FAIF victims. Okay? Anti-sperm antibodies is tested using mixed anticoagulation or mixed coagulation reaction that detects the presence of IgG. Ano yung kailangan natin dito? Semen, AHG, latex particle, or treated RBC coated with IgG. Normal, 10% motil attached to the particles. Okay? Immunoglid test that detects the IgA, IgG, and IgM. Now, these are the chemical tests, no, that can be used in assessing the semen function. Fructose greater than or equal to 112 micromole per ejaculate. Decrease in volume is caused by decrease in seminal fluid. Diba nandyan siya? Sa seminal fluid, 60 to 70%. Neutral A or neutral alpha glucosidase greater than or equal to 20 milli international units per ejaculate. Decrease in value is due to epididymis disorder. Zinc, citric acid, and acid phosphatase. No, decreased value is due to decrease in prostatic fluid. Kasi ito po yung nakikita, usually yung ating acid phosphatase. Okay, so we can also have microbial testing, round cells, RBC, WBC rather, and spermatids. Ito yung sinasabi ko, yung WBC at saka spermatids must be differentiated because spermatids sometimes are being counted as WBC. Okay, normal value, less than 1 million per ml. Ngayon, kapag ang WBC is greater than 1 million cells or 1 million WBCs per ml, that is an indication of infection. And if the cell is less than 1 million per ml, that is disruption of our spermatogenesis. Right? Now, for microbial test, we can also use microbial test can also be tested or can also be used to test the presence of Chlamydia trachomatis, Mycoplasma hominis, Urea plasma urelyticum. Now, this is your assignment, no? When we have our synchronous session for this one, I want you to give me what are these microorganisms and what are the infection that this microorganism can cause. Chlamydia trachomatis, Mycoplasma hominis, and Urea plasma urelyticum. Okay. Medical legal test, no, for the detection of semen, usually for rape victims, no, it is, ano yung ginagawa? Microscopic exam, fluorescence under IV, acid phosphatase determination in the vaginal fluid or in the vaginal canal, glycoprotein P30, more specific method, AB or blood grouping, and DNA analysis. That's for medical legal test. Okay, so for the detection of semen, we also have the fluorescence test, which is not specific. No, this is a test for choline, no, and iodine crystals plus potassium iodide will give us a positive color of black-brown rhombic shapes like this. Barbiero's test is for spermine that uses saturated picric acid in trichloroacetic acid, and the positive reaction is yellow leaf-like crystals. Okay. Again, another purpose of semen analysis is for post-vasectomy. Yeah, that is vasectomy. Okay, for post-vasectomy screening or analysis. Okay, vasectomy is vasectomy. Yeah, tama pala. Vasectomy. Okay, vasectomy. Okay, vasectomy is a cutting of the vas deferens, no? So that the sperm will not flow going to the urethra. Okay? What if, let's say for example, nag-vasectomy ka, and then after a month, mayroon pang presence ng sperm, okay lang yun. Kasi mayroon pang mga sperm na nandun sa lining or sa tubules, sa vas deferens. Pero after 2 months, no, dapat pula na siya. Okay? And after 2 months, and no sperm na, that is, no, that is a conclusion, no, na naging okay yung vasectomy sa men. Okay? So these are the terminologies that I want you to remember when we said aspermia, no ejaculate. No ejaculate. Azoospermia, absence of sperm. Necrospermia, immotile or dead sperm. Oligospermia, decrease in sperm concentration. Okay? So those are the things that I want you to remember in terms of semen analysis. And I hope that you all were able to understand what semen analysis is all about.